welcome to everyone. It's a great pleasure to be here. I wanted to start with a story, as we encourage all of us to do. So it was the spring of 2004. I got the assignment that no junior associate attorney in an insurance defense firm ever wants to receive. This was the dreaded plaintiff's case involving the key client's nephew. It was the kind of case you can't win. If you spend too much time on it, then your billable work, your work for the insurance defense side of the house suffers. But if you don't spend enough time on it, there's just no way to recover, and you're going to upset the client. And to complicate matters, the nephew was, how do I say it charitably, largely at fault for his own injuries. But there I was, young associate in charge of the case. So I set to work on it. I scared up some witnesses. I took the depositions. I pulled together some expert testimony. I was making an argument, gaining momentum, trying to get this thing to trial. But just as I would have done on the defense side, the defendant hit me with a solid motion for summary judgment. It was a hearing I'll never forget. It was the old Kane County Courthouse in Geneva. The distressed wood on the trial tables and the jury seats, and they tell decades of stories. There we were. We're going back and forth. I was matching the points with the defense attorney, distinguishing the cases, raising facts from the record, pushing my theory of the case. Just then, the judge signaled us to pause, and he leaned back in the bench, and he drew in a deep breath, and he said, I'd like to thank both sides for their well-founded motion and briefs and arguments. But having heard the moving party and heard the response from the plaintiff, the court finds in favor of the defendant. I lost. I congratulated my opposing counsel. I thanked the judge. And as I started gathering my things from the counsel's table, I could see a man in the third row in the gallery. He was sitting there quietly, somewhat solemnly, and I recognized him in an instant. I can still remember seeing his windbreaker with the insurance carrier emblem on the sleeve, and it was our insurance client. And the air fell out of my chest. I had to go talk to him, and I could see he was upset, at least emotional. And I immediately felt that I let him down and I let the firm down. And he got up and he came across the bar and he met me in the well of the court. And I said, I am sorry, sir. If I only could have, when all of a sudden he cut me off. He said, watching you argue the case, representing my nephew, standing up for him when few others do, I can honestly now tell him that we left it all in the court. There was nothing more we could have done. This is his wake-up call. In fact, had he prevailed, I'm afraid it would have done nothing more than embolden his irresponsible ways. So thank you. He shook my hand and he left the courtroom, and I'm standing there. I still think about that exchange and the ripple effect that it may have caused. And I learned a valuable lesson at that hearing, that every story has a hero, even if you can't see it right away. It just might be a matter of perspective. And in every such story, that hero arrives at that opportunity through a characteristic process or journey. And that's a journey we're about to begin together. It is my great privilege to join all of you here at the Complati Gala, to share the stage with these presenters who are ready to inspire you and lead us toward a new horizon for this industry, and to once again honor the memory of David DiPaolo with the 2020 People's Choice Awards. I've said this before. This event is fast becoming the most important session of the year. Today, we'll feature 6 of our industry's most influential leaders telling their most powerful, heroic stories, each doing their part to help change the narrative of our industry. I will introduce you to each of them in turn, and each of our presenters will share their unique story. So listen intently. Ask yourself whether the storyteller has moved you. Did you feel the passion in his or her words? David understood that the acts of heroism in the stories we tell in our industry, sometimes the hero acts with grandeur. Sometimes it's a little bit more subtle. But in every case, we know that one person can change the lives of many. It was the noted literary scholar Joseph Campbell. I've got a copy of his book right here. who said, "A hero is someone who gives him or herself to something bigger." Professor Campbell chronicled the steps a hero must take during the course of the story, and he's identified 12 separate phases of character development to become and to create a hero in that story. And throughout today's session, we're going to navigate some of the key aspects of Professor Campbell's progression by featuring each of these 6 powerful stories. As you'll soon see, each of our stories is a composed, compelling, and complete thought about the energy it takes to make a positive impact in our industry. But as we step back, our stories today coalesced to depict the transformative process known as the hero's journey.